Hello, everybody, and welcome to SOG Tonight. Tonight we have a great show in store for you. We're going to be discussing the Batman '89 comic, which was written by Hamm and is a follow-up to, of course, the Batman '89 movie. But as you know, SOG is not just me. There's two of us. So let me bring on my partner in crime. Let's go, everyone. Here's Pete.
Ooksus! What's going on, everybody?
What's up? How's everybody doing?
Man. Oh, dude. I am just, I don't know. I'm just excited. I'm ready to talk some 89. Like, this is great. I'm just pumped. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, man. This obviously, when it was announced, we were all very excited that they were going to be doing something like this. And there we go, Pete showing the actual copy of it. So yeah, everyone was really excited. Obviously, we know there's a Superman 78 comic as well, but this being straight out of Gotham and Pete and I both being lovers of Batman, we decided, let's do this. Let's talk about Batman 89, and we'll talk about other things, obviously, as well. If you guys haven't yet, I posted the podcast today that Pete and I did yesterday. So if you wanted like a little precursor to this or a follow-up to when we're done, you guys can check that out. If you're obviously, if you're watching this, you're probably following us. So it's already in your streams, wherever you find your podcast.
I know Jacob Miller's listening.
Yes. I want to say hello to Steven, to Jacob. Hey guys, thanks for checking in. Thanks for following us, and thanks for watching. Hopefully we could get through this. Hopefully you guys have read Batman 89. And if you haven't, well, we'll get a little taste of it here from Pete and I. So without further ado, let's jump into this one.
Yeah.
So it's a 6-issue story is a 6-issue like mini run, I guess, on Batman 89. Hello Nico, thanks for checking in. So first of all, Pete, maybe give a little bit of a background, because we both love 89, but I have heard your love for 89 is just inhuman. So it's like something crazy. So,
well, how can it not be? It's, I mean, unlike some people in the chat, it's the most iconic superhero movie of all time, right? It's Batman 89. We went from Potbelly Batman to dark and serious Batman. Shout out to Mr. Uslan,
right,
and the late great Mr. Ben Melnicker. They got this done, and it's just it's in the pantheon of just Batman. Like we probably don't get where we are right now without 89, right? Like, yeah, Superman was kind of on the downturn after Superman 4 and such, and those were the only two guys out there. And I remember the story of Mr. Uslan being laughed out of studio after studio, but like, well, why are we going to do a Batman movie? They already did Superman. Like, what are we going to do with these funny pages? So it took a lot of convincing, and then Batman 89 just took off, and it is the juggernaut that it is, and we all know and love. Keaton, Nicholson, Basinger, Robert Wool. I mean, just like
Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams, right? Like, he's a big part of this. But
yes.
Sam Hamm didn't get a chance to really see his Batman 2 script come to light. So this is kind of his redemption story. This is kind of like, if anything, this is his like Batman 3, to be honest, because it takes place after Returns. And so it's a great concept. I remember, a couple years ago, Quinones teased this really cool black and white image, which he called Batman 89. And it featured all of our, favorites, and Billy D as Two-Face. And it really got the internet buzzing. And it took a little bit, but we finally got the story. And I was really pleased with it. I don't know about you, but I was into it. I know some people weren't, unfortunately. Maybe they need their back card revoked. But yeah, I'll have to reach out to Mr. J. Oliva. I know he's the steward of that ship. But I was happy with, like, what about you, Eric? Like, you don't read a whole lot of comics, so for you to actually go out there and pick up, did you pick up a physical copy? Did you pick up a digital? Like,
no, I got it digitally. So I got a digital copy, but obviously, man, I've said this many times. You guys have followed me. You've watched me on other shows. I've said this many times. This movie was a huge part of my childhood. So when I heard that they were doing this book, of course, this was the one I was definitely going to run and read. I do want to get a physical copy of it, so I'm planning on doing that So I will do that and the whole run, and then probably when they put it all together into the graphic novel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally getting
right.
a trade. I'm gonna put it. It's gonna go right next to that Batman '89 deluxe edition that came out not too long ago.
Right.
That comic adaptation.
Yeah, I mean, I really, I mean, I had heard bad things from the same people you heard it from, like we've heard it from. So I was kind of like, okay.
I mean, I'm just gonna go out and say it, Justin Kowalski. You're dude, you're crazy.
Yes.
Like, dude doesn't like cool cars and he doesn't like nostalgic comics. So I don't know what's wrong with that guy.
But yeah, I don't know, Justin, what you're thinking with this one, because I enjoyed it, man. For what, first thing, it brought me back to that time, right? So it brings you back to that time, Batman '89. The characters, the drawings were very good. Like, they look very much like the characters we saw live.
The only one who doesn't really resemble who they're supposed to, I think, is the Keaton character, is the Bruce Wayne. He doesn't really look like Keaton. I don't know if that's like a licensing thing or whatnot, if they can't get Keaton's likeness. Because I know like Nicholson's likeness is like impossible to get. That's why there's no Jack toys outside of those couple Hot Toys you've seen. So, you know, some of these guys don't sell off their likeness. But I got to say, like, Pat Hingle looks like Commissioner Gordon kind of looks like Pat Hingle.
Yeah.
Billy D looks like Billy D. So
awesome.
I thought Quinones did a really good job, and I love what he did. Like, you just open it up, you get like that. You just Joker goons. You get this Gotham Square from Batman Returns, like you saw that, with that little like half circle where the Penguin comes out of. Like that's that scene, and there's a nice little homage to Batman the animated series in there. I know a lot of people were a little upset that you didn't get to see the pupils of the eyes like they do in the movie adaptations of '89. That didn't bother me. I'm not going to nitpick that. But I really dig Quinones' art. Alfred looks like Michael Goff with a mustache. To me, like I was just really impressed with everything. And there's a cool little homage to Batman Returns too. Like there's just so much to unravel. Like I don't know how you can't, as a fan of those two movies, enjoy what's going on.
Yeah, Steven dropped this in the comments, and he's right. The first thing I saw with his hair, I'm like, they gave him gray in his hair, and back then he didn't have gray. So that was something that I noticed in the story.
He looks like Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, he kind of does. He kind of does look like Mr. Fantastic. And he has these little gray streaks on the side. And I'm like, well, he has them now. So what? I don't know. Will they try to bring it more current? I don't know what the deal was.
Well, I don't know how much time has passed since Returns to
that's a good point, too.
Story either.
We don't know that yet. Yes.
But
there was kind of a little also I thought of obviously the Dark Knight a little bit, where they when the Halloween costumes and the people were dressed up like Batman. He's like, oh, we wear these at night.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like, that part was pretty cool. And then they asked the Joker character, and he was kind of like, what? Like
he kind of looks like Prince, right?
Yeah, he does a little bit look like Prince.
And there's a skeleton guy in one panel who looks straight out of Batman Returns, like one of those guys on the bikes.
Yes.
In the opening.
Yes.
So, there's so much cool stuff in here. I was really impressed with it, and I'll tell you what I really liked about the story was I love that Hamm established two things. He established a lot of Harvey Dent's history. We see where Harvey comes from. We see what Harvey's about, his personality traits, and who inspired him. And we also see the relationship between Bruce Wayne, Batman, and Gordon, which is almost non-existent in the Burton movies. Right. Yeah, and that's great. And I remember talking to Ryan Haas about this, and he's with me. Like, just the characterization of Harvey Dent, how he is kind of like a street guy, but he's like, I put on this facade for City Hall. Like I'm from this neighborhood. I know who I am. And you can see he goes back and he tries to like inspire people and stuff. And I just I could hear Billy's voice.
Right. Well,
goblins.
I said
reading the book.
I said that to you guys in the chat last night. Like I was reading it and reading his parts with his voice in my head.
Everybody's voice was everyone except for Barbara Gordon, because I don't know what she sounds like.
Exactly, and that was an interesting twist.
Yeah,
that was an interesting twist. Yeah,
and she's kind of like, and it's like, oh, that's why she's not. It's like, and you can kind of like retroactively headcanon and be like, well, that's why Babs isn't in the other two movies. She's like his estranged daughter. Right. And here she's obviously older. She's a detective and she's engaged, dating Harvey. Yeah. And Commissioner Gordon can't stand Harvey Dent. It's an interesting dynamic. The liberties they've taken, and I don't have a problem with anything really. I'm I'm kind of all about it.
No, me neither. Like you said, everything you said, I totally agree with. The backstory on Harvey in this one, we get a little bit more of that. The Barbara stuff, obviously, she wasn't mentioned at all in the Burton movies, really. So we didn't have any reference point for that. So this definitely is a fleshed out story, continuing where we're going with the book. Anything you didn't like?
My only gripe is just like the Keaton of the story. To be honest with you, it's just,
Okay.
He didn't really look like Michael, and I get it, but I can let that slide. But that's it. Like if I had to, I'm not gonna cause too much gripes. Just
right.
I'm just happy I have it. To be honest, it was just great to kind of go back into that world. Because you always wonder as a fan, just like, well, what happened next, right? Like as I've gotten older, I kind of consider the Burton movies and the Schumacher movies just different franchises in a sense, right? Like I get like Skin Tight Vinyl and a Whip and Batman Forever, and he's talking to Dick like a madman killed my parents, but like I think you could totally establish, and the Flash is doing that too. Like in that movie, it takes place, I believe, after Batman Returns. Or at least after I can't remember if it's after 89 or Returns, but I know they're not actively seeking out Schumacher continuity, and that's cool for me. Like that's fine, because it's cool because those movies are still intact, like as a sequel to one another.
Yeah, Jacob brings up a good point. We did see the Joker Gruden outfits, the same ones that with his face
with the patch,
and the patch, yeah. So that was pretty cool too. It was really like. This story, obviously, it's the beginning, it's laying the foundation. So it's really hard for me, like when people say, "Oh, I don't like," it's really hard for me to critique a story right now because we're in the beginning of it.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for me to say, "Oh, this is going to stink," or I don't like it.
It's all set up at this point.
Exactly. It's all just setting up for what's going to happen in the subsequent books. You get a little bit more of the Bruce Alfred relationship in this as well. That's a little fleshed out a little bit. So yeah, I don't want to go too in depth on what the story is actually about because it's still fairly new and I don't know if everyone's read it. So I don't want to go too far in depth into what actually happens. But again, it's not too much. Like you said, the awesome point with Harvey going back to the guy who basically raised him.
And we learned the backstory of the coin.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Anyone in the chat can mention, but did BTAS give a backstory to the coin? I don't remember. I'm drawing a blank there, but like, it's non-existent in Batman Forever. It's not really existent in Dark. It's there, like, but there's no like backstory, I think, in Dark Knight to the coin. And here it kind of gives it purpose. And you see it's from his childhood and, it is part, and similar to, Dark Knight, it is kind of like Harvey's gimmick,
right.
Where he's like, he goes to Babs. He's like, heads your mind. Tails, you got to think it over, something like that. And she's like, it's two-headed coin. Like that reminded me of Dark Knight as well.
Yeah, that's true.
That's cool. Like I kind of like that has staying power. Like I kind of, like it's just become a part of Harvey Dent at this point. Almost kind of like it's like what Harley Quinn did with Bane's crazy Tom Hardy voice, right? It's just becoming part of the character at this point. So that's cool, and I'm digging it. I'm all about it. And like, Robin was really interesting. We got a real quick tease of Robin. He's obviously not Robin yet, but he caught Batman off guard, and and the book kind of ends with Batman dangling.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting. And you could see Robin is a man of the people. He's protecting it's almost like Robin is kind of Daredevil-ish, whereas like Daredevil operates in the Marvel universe within Hell's Kitchen. Like Robin's got like a sector of his neighborhood he protects. Right. Literally, like, or I guess he's very Robin Hood. So we'll see, and we'll see how that plays out. And man, I tweeted Marlon Wayans. I was like, do you know this is happening? Are you gonna read this? Like what's going on? Like I would imagine maybe they reached out to Marlon for his likeness because it was very obviously Marlon was cast as Robin.
Yes.
And he was never actually, he was cut from the movie. Robin was cut from both movies, actually. He was in 89 at one point, he was cut, and Marlon Wayans was cast and then cut in Batman Returns, then was replaced in Batman Forever. And I found actually, and Ryan Haas actually told me something very interesting. Tim Drake is actually named after Tim Burton. Like it was kind of the reason why Tim Drake was created to get a Robin into the movies. So they kind of sped that along before And they even named him Tim after Tim Burton, and Tim Burton approved the design of the Robin suit and everything like that Neil Adams created for Drake. So very fascinating stuff coming from our resident favorite Robin, Ryan Haas.
Yes, there's another character who makes an appearance in here. It's only one page, but he's someone who's in a larger part of the Batman lore, and that's Harvey Bullock. We do see Harvey Bullock in this.
It's the first time Bullock's in the Burton verse, which is great.
So we got a little bit of Harvey Bullock in here. Yeah, it hit all the right spots for me. Like, that's how I can explain it. It hit all the right spots for me as someone, like I said, as someone who, this was the first Batman movie, what's it called, that I saw obviously in the theater, and it just hit all the parts I wanted to bring me back to that time.
Yeah.
Trey Jackson actually says that they're connected. I'm assuming he's talking about Batman Returns and Batman Forever and Batman.
Yeah, they are. I just, if you could make the argument that they're not, essentially. They're so totally different. But yeah, they are. Those four films are those three films are a sequel to '89.
Yeah, like a loose sequel. Like we were talking about with the Suicide Squad, right? Like it's a loose sequel. There's references to it, but yes, it's a loose sequel to all those films. But anything else stand out, Pete, that you want to highlight?
I just think that this book did a really great job of picking up where Hamm left off with like Harvey Dent. This clearly is a Harvey Dent issue right here. Like he's front and center, the main character. He's the driving force of the story. It opens with Harvey. He's making everything happen behind the scenes. And I just feel like this is in character with what Billy D was doing, and I just feel like Billy D's Harvey Dent wasn't always as supportive of Batman as, let's say, Aaron Eckhart's was, right?
Right. Very different. Yeah.
And, and just in general, Gordon's different. Gordon doesn't have much of a relationship. And I think he built upon those things that were missing in the movie. And I give him a lot of credit for that. I really enjoyed those moments.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the fleshing out of the relationships that we didn't get in the original Burton films, because that's always been essential to who Batman is, right? So it's bringing that element back to the story. I was trying to, in my head, while I was reading it, I'm like, all right, obviously this is only the first book, and I'll be able to do this more as the subsequent issues come out. But I was trying in my head to block it as a film. Like I do that a lot when I read comics. So I was trying in my head to how I would set this up as a film and would it work? So anything in the art or anything that you saw in here that you would like keep if it was a film, that you would get rid of, anything. I try and do that a lot just to say, okay, yeah, that element really worked. That really didn't. I would change that.
Just like artistically?
Yeah.
The purple cape doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
I think because the suit itself is all black, I think the purple kind of blends in and almost hides. Whereas like when Rebirth happened, Batman had a purple cape on a gray suit and it stood out more. Right. But I kind of dig this. And I was very against that. I was like, this looks hideous, but the purple cape here looks really cool, I think. And I really dig how like Quinones draws Batman in general. Like when he's creeping around the stove, when he goes after the kid with the diapers, I think that's really cool. And just, he did a great job recreating Anton's Batmobile.
Yes. Yeah.
And you get the guided Batarang, like that makes a cameo appearance. There's so, for someone who like loves these two movies, there's so many cute little like cameos or Easter eggs and stuff. And I remember I walked into the comic shop on Tuesday, and I was just ecstatic. I bust open the door and I'm like, today's the day. And my buddy Mike behind the counter goes, oh, good. I'm glad you're here. And he points to this kid. He goes, he doesn't know what's going on. Will you explain this to him? I had to tell him. He was like, what is this book? Is this a reboot of Batman 89? And I was like, I told him about Sam Hamm and everything. And he was like, well, he's a lot younger than us.
Oh, okay.
This was a young kid. I'm going to say he was in his this kid made Nico look old enough to have kids. Like, he was a young guy. So like I explained, he was really interested in it, and he was like, oh wow, cool. And I was like, yeah, think of it as like the Burton Batman 3. Like this is kind of what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm interested if Sam had any conversation with Tim at all. He probably didn't, but it would be cool to know. I mean, I remember that Keaton interview that's making the rounds right now. The guy did the interview, asked Keaton if he would talk to Burton either, and he was like, not about this, but we have other stuff in the works. So I was like, oh, that's cool. But you know, I would love to hear what Tim has to say about this. And you know, it's funny, like if you watch the late John Schnepp's documentary, The Death of Superman, Knows What Happened, you can hear Tim, and he's like, man, like he's like, I hate superhero movies. He's like, I don't want to talk about this stuff anymore. And he's like, Joel ruined my franchise. It's kind of funny. And I was like, you're kind of a bitter old man now. It's like, are you Alan Moore?
In 2019, I mean, when it was the 30th anniversary, I had a what's it called? I had a connection that I tried to get Tim Burton to just do a little interview with him, even if he didn't want to do it live, like in this kind of setting or a podcast. If I could just do something and write it in print.
Yeah.
But he told me that he tried, and his rep is just was telling him like, yeah, he doesn't like to talk much about Batman 89 or,
which is interesting.
You know, so.
It's interesting because it doesn't seem like it was a troubled production, right? It doesn't seem like it was something that would be unpleasant. I just think it's the thing that people want to talk about the most. So I think he's done talking.
I don't think it ended well. That's the part that I think. I don't think it ended well when it ended.
Well, if you watch the special features on the original 4, I think it's in Batman Returns, the special features, and he walks in and he's pitching ideas for Batman 3, and they're kind of like, "Oh, don't you want to do other things?" And he's like, "You guys don't want me to do this anymore."
Right? They're forcing him out.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe it wasn't as peaceful, but you know, like he did go on to make other really great pictures, so we're very fortunate in that, right? Yeah. You know, but not everyone can can get their director's cut out there, I guess.
Right. The one thing that obviously it's a book as compared to a movie. So the one thing that the book is, it's a little, I don't want to say the tone is lighter, but the actual views are lighter. Like the movies are very dark and gothic and gray, lots of gray. The book obviously has more colors and stuff like that. So that I think would have been a cool shift on screen if the third film would follow something like this. So in my head, like I said, I try and piece these things together and put them out. That's one thing I liked, or I liked that I thought could be done with this. But yeah, I mean, guys, if you haven't read it yet, I really don't want to say too much because there are a couple of things in it that you're kind of like, oh wow. So
would people really watch this show if they haven't read it yet, though? Like, I would imagine we said we were going to break it down. This is pretty.
There are
much
a couple people
show
in here who are watching who basically said they haven't read it yet.
Really? You guys are brave. I'm not looking at the chat. I'm going to pop it open right now.
So yeah, I mean, there are people who haven't read it. So just anyone in the audience, let me just put it that way, who saw it, if you want to shoot in some comments about what you liked about it, we'll show them up on the screen, and then we could all break it down. All right. So Steven, what were your takes from the story? Let us know. Type it in the comments, and I'll shoot it up on screen, and we could talk about that a little bit more. So, all right, I'm trying to think. We haven't covered anything that I had marked.
No, I mean, you took notes. Wow, you're better than me. I was just like, oh man.
Well, I flagged certain parts of the story that I wanted to get into and talk about, but we kind of did already. So, but the title of the next one is called Showdown in Burnside.
Ooh, Harvey, what's going on, bro?
Right. So,
and that's while originally I was bummed that this was not. I kind of wanted this to be kind of like an ongoing thing. Right. I kind of wanted this was my, like I was talking to Reno earlier. Like I'm a more What If fan than Elseworlds fan. Elseworlds fan. Like I know that's like crazy. People are like, oh, you hate Marvel. I'm like, no, you're an idiot if you think that.
I joke with you about it, but I know you don't.
You know, and it's like I was like, oh man, so this is I was kind of hoping this would be like an ongoing thing, but like having it as 6 issues kind of makes it kind of special. Like it is one story, you know. And if it's successful and people buy it, I think it could open the doors for a lot of things. That's why, like I mentioned earlier, like I would be down for a Batman 95, right? Like kind of continuing maybe like if Goldsman could continue that universe of Bat stories, you know, the more lighthearted Schumacher tales with the neons and stuff. Like I would be down for that. You know, I read Wonder Woman 77. I loved it. I read Wonder Woman 77 meets the Bionic Woman. Batman 66 was great. these little like time capsule period pieces are just fabulous. And I hope it really does well, because I think it would be really cool to visit some of these stories,
Oh, I agree with you there.
And that includes like if Snyder wants to actually do his Justice League and comic stuff, like I'm not opposed to that either. If anything, I think it's the medium to do that. Like I would thoroughly enjoy something like that.
No, I agree with you. I agree. I think those kind of things are always just fun to read, and again, they bring the nostalgia back. They bring you back. So I agree with you 100% there. So the fact that they mentioned they're going to Burnside, and we know Barbara Gordon is here. Do you think we will get Batgirl in this?
I don't think we're going to get. I don't think we're going to get Batgirl at all. But I think I'm wondering, when is the switch from Dent to Two-Face?
Right.
I want to envision that Two-Face will become like the main villain. Is it going to take 3 issues to get to Two-Face, and then we have Two-Face for 3 issues? I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens. I'm interested to see who's still around.
Right.
Joker's dead, Penguin's dead, Catwoman's out there. Mickey Dolenz was always rumored to be Tim Burton's Riddler. Maybe he makes an appearance at some point. I don't know, but
right.
It'd be cool to see that stuff. But if I believe if Burnside will end up being some kind of Batman Harvey Dent showdown, because isn't that where that's where we learn about Harvey and his buddy and the coin and all that stuff, correct? They're in Burnside. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I think it'll be some kind of showdown there.
All right. So this was a good story too, which is something I didn't bring up, but it is very, very true. The mutant, he looked like one of the slice and dicers from
Slice and Dice.
Yes, he looked like one of those guys. Correct. So Jacob, thanks for bringing that up.
I'm flipping through right now.
Yeah, you'll see it. It's the one he has the thing, the eye thing, and yeah.
Yes, Jacob, my man.
Good pull, man. That was a good pull.
Whoa, someone's paying attention in here. I loved it. That's great.
So I think we might get a Batgirl.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. Why else would you introduce Barbara Gordon?
Right. That's that was my thinking. Like, why are we bringing her in now? It's after Batman Returns. I think we definitely might get a Batgirl. I think Riddler is a strong, very strong pull as well. I think we probably will get some kind of a Riddler in these other 5 books. Sorry, after this. But the possibilities are endless, right? Because
what about like some sort of like Batgirl Two-Face showdown towards the end, right? Like
because they set up this relationship now.
Yeah. I'd be down for that.
So that would be cool. Or the fact that when he becomes Two-Face, that pushes her to become Batgirl or something like that. Some kind of.
And then Harvey starts dating the poodle lady from Returns.
That's funny. So this maybe we will get Batwoman.
That'd be cool.
Batwoman, that's a good call.
Then it would lead to Batman Beyond, which would probably lead to like what Keaton's doing in the movie, right?
Yeah, that's another thing I was thinking of reading this as well. Like, what they're doing in The Flash, were there any conversations there?
No, none at all. I don't think there.
Okay, I just want, because we've been told now that this is a multiverse, right? And that things might not directly connect, but there could be references to things that aren't on screen. So every time I do something like this, and we know Keaton's going to be Batman in The Flash, I'm wondering, okay, does this story impact that, or is this just its own thing?
I think it's its own thing. I think the movie, it takes precedent, right? Like that's where the big money's going to be made.
Well, of course,
yeah.
Of course, but obviously for people like us, for fans who read comics or super Batman 89 fans, even if you don't read comics, I know people who don't and saw this and they're like, crap, I want to read that now. I want to read the story. I want to see where it goes. So this book, and even Superman 78, my sister was a huge Superman fan. That's the reason why I even started liking Superman and superheroes. She's the reason.
Is she read 78?
I told her that she didn't know, and I told her, she's like, I'm going to have to get that. I'm going to have to read that.
That'd be cool. Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, these books, I think this is great. I think it's a great way, too, to bring people like me back into reading comics more.
I feel like the last book you read was Batman Catwoman #1.
No, that's not.
I think that was the last live stream we did, too.
I told you the last book I read. The last one I read.
Was it The Long Halloween?
No.
I don't know.
No, I got the Suicide Squad comic I got from going to AMC, the special comic. That's the last comic.
Oh, that's like a new 52 issue too.
It is. But hey, I got it.
That's not a bad run. That's kind of what got Ayer going.
I got it, and I was like, okay, so I'll read it. So yeah, that's the last, just recently too. But no, I definitely want to. I'll read obviously all the issues, and we can do subsequent shows on it. Continue, maybe bring other people in to discuss it.
Yeah,
because
I know Justin was itching to talk trash, but he's too busy being a real person, not a fanboy.
Yeah, Justin has a lot on his plate right now, so
better him than me.
It would have been cool to have him on, but he does have a lot going on.
It'd be nice to have someone to have the counter argument of who didn't enjoy this.
It's true. So do you want to discuss maybe a little bit what we talked about on the pod?
Yeah, I mean, I'm down to talk whatever. Like,
go through some of that now.
Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
All right, so I'm not going to do
how a certain fan base thinks Suicide Squad should have been 2 hours.
Well, we could go into a bunch of those things. If you want to be a controversial show tonight, we could do that. I'm fine. I'm fine with that as well.
I know you are.
We could talk about Tim Drake. I know you weren't big about talking about it last night, but we could talk about it if you want. If not, we'll just move right along. That's fine.
Tim Drake. I'm down to talk Drake. I love Tim Drake.
All right. So I'll just position this to you because you obviously are a much more avid comic reader than I am. So your feelings when you saw it, be honest, just talk about it. We're not going to fight or anything. Just when you saw that, because you were the first person who brought it to my attention. Right. I didn't know this was happening.
Twitter was going to blow up.
Right. So you brought it to my attention. So just give a quick synopsis on what you feel about it.
I haven't read the story yet, so I don't know how it really goes down. I've heard scuttlebutt, and I kind of knew it was coming.
Right.
It does reflect the times that we're in. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are people out there who are bisexual, and representation always matters. So like I get why they're doing it, and it does make sense. It's not a huge deal to me. Like, he's still Tim Drake. He's the greatest detective outside of Batman there is.
Right.
And let's see what they do with it. I hope it's not just some editorial mandate that doesn't go anywhere. If they do it, I want it to have substance. I want it to mean something. I just don't want this to be a thing just to do it. Right. But I'm happy for those who are celebrating this. Who have this member. This is a big member of the superhero community coming out, and I don't see the problem with it. Like I know Twitter is a dangerous place, and but I know that Gotham Outsiders they are probably the happiest about this. I mean, their Twitter feed is it's basically been like 4th of July. Right? They're very static.
So I think, and it came out today, I forget who her name was, and I'm sorry, but I read a little blurb that says, oh, he's not really anything yet. He's just kind of experimenting, trying to figure things out, which to me does make it.
You want to take it.
It to me does make it sound like, and I hope, like you said, I hope this is not the case, but it does kind of lend me to think, okay, they did this on purpose.
I am curious as to why this didn't happen during Pride Month. Like, this seems to be something that should have been taking place then. I feel like it was like, why, you guys are late to the party. Like, Pride Month was like, what was it, like a month ago, 2 months ago? Like, I feel like that was the perfect opportunity to make this, to just drop the story.
This is a good point too. Steven brings up in the chat. Is it canon?
Yeah.
Like, are they gonna? Because it's an urban legend. It's the urban legend. So is it canon?
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
so, okay.
And Urban Legends is arguably one of the better Bat books out there right now. I think it's like Detective Urban Legends. I'm trying to think what else is out there. I'm drawing blanks, but yeah, I think they might be the two big.
Does your mom want to ask us a question, Garrett? Does Mama Grev want to ask us?
Did she watch the Suicide Squad?
To ask us a question? Oh man. But no, I think, like I said, the controversy surrounding it, to me, I do get both sides of the argument. I do. I get both. I get the people who think it's just they're kind of fan servicey, throwing it out there. But I do understand the other angle too. It's interpretation. He's a known character. It's nice to have that kind of a thing happening right now. So we'll see what happens going forward. As you said,
it doesn't change how much I love Tim Drake.
Right.
That just I don't care who he dates, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter to me.
Like I said, if it's something that they're gonna do and then do like stories on it, that's different than if they're just throwing it out there that, oh yeah, Tim might like guys and girls and be bisexual, and I don't think they're going
the first, right?
Right. Yeah.
People are out there.
Exactly. So
it just like me as a comic fan, like I grew up reading Tim and Stephanie in a relationship. So
exactly.
Like, when I first heard this, I was like, oh wow, like I never saw this coming.
Right.
That's why I was like, oh, Tim and Stephanie are gonna get back together. That's not the case.
All right. Well, that's why I understand. Like I said, I understand the arguments from both sides. Like he wasn't this before, so why all of a sudden now? I get it, but it's interesting. It is an interesting topic, and it's obviously one that's going to continue as the story keeps going on with him. So we'll see what happens going forward.
I believe the next chapter of this story takes place in Batman Urban Legends 10. I think I saw that somewhere on Twitter. So we've this is issue 6. We got a few issues to go.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm all down for seeing a good Tim Drake story. As long as it's a good Tim Drake story, that's all that really matters to me.
Right. I think that at the end of the day, that's what you want, right? You just want it to be a good story. I could get down with any story if it's well written, and then a comic if it's drawn well. Like all those things still apply, even if they're taking the character in a different direction. And let's be honest, they changed other things on characters all the time. So why this is just I just look at it as something like that. They're doing something with a character, exploring an angle that they haven't done before.
Yeah,
and
and there've been a few characters Alan Scott, I think, was probably the most recent.
You brought up Alan Scott, right?
The most recent character to kind of join the I guess he's a member of the LGBTQ community. So this is for those who don't like it, get used to it. This is something that's going to happen, and for the normal people, we can move on and enjoy things and not complain about dumb things.
Right, like just be easy right now. That's an old slang term that I still use.
Not 1938 anymore. Apples don't cost a nickel.
But be a little easy right now, and let's just see where this thing goes. I think that's the best course of action to take at the moment. So let's go run through the comments and see. Nico chimed in and said that he reflects the modern times. So that's actually cool. As we said, Jacob also chimes in. It doesn't change the character. It's not like he's acting any different. So we still have that all to look at. So on the podcast, guys, we discussed something. We discussed like most of our podcast, as you know, is DC related, but we do other things. We do talk about other things. And just a really quick synopsis of one thing that we talked about last night. And I hope you guys are hip hop fans, because I'm going there with this one. So we talked about the new documentary coming out, right? For about Biggie and Tupac and
Last Man Standing.
Yeah. Now, as I said on the show, I'm a child of that era. They are the two biggest rap acts from that time period. I was a teenager. Teenager, but in college, I was still, when they died, I was just becoming 20, 21. So, and I'm a huge fan of rap music. So this was I know people are probably like, what? But yeah, I'm a huge fan of rap music. So this shook the industry and it shook everything. So, you being younger, and obviously we've had numerous documentaries and shows and all of that stuff about this. So, and I know you're a fan of hip hop as well. You like rap music as well. So what Biggie and Tupac for you, what are they for you as opposed to me? Like what are your feelings on them?
I think Tupac was a talent gone too soon. I feel like Biggie Smalls, Nico, Zeddy were enemies until the end of this series. So sorry, delete my number, jerk. It's crazy to just think about how big Biggie Smalls is. I mean, the guy literally has 2 albums and he's still like a top 5 rapper all time, right? Like it's kind of insane. His lasting power. No one else has ever sounded like Biggie Smalls. No one else delivered anything. I probably not until Jay-Z really ran to prominence, just that lyrical flow.
Right.
This is a thing for me that I just soak up. Like whenever there's a Biggie Tupac documentary, usually they end up being very repetitive.
Yes.
They usually end up covering the same topics, but I can't take my eyes off for some reason.
I agree.
And it's just fascinating to me. And you know, it seems that since Suge has been recently he's been re-incarcerated.
He goes to jail, I think, once every 3 years
for another murder case, and he probably isn't going to get out. It looks like people kind of are comfortable enough with that to speak up against him. At least that's what the trailer and the documentary portrayed. You know that, you know, and we all know how powerful Suge was back in the day, which was, you know, more powerful than anyone who doesn't hold public office should ever be. Right? Like he is, he could do no wrong. But it's just fascinating to me. I can't wait. It comes out August 20th. So we are, you know, right around the corner from that. And to be honest, that's not even like my most hyped documentary on the horizon for me personally. I mean, Malice at the Palace is, I'm really all about that.
Right. So yeah, we discussed that too on the podcast. So just we give a little taste. Like Pete, listen to the podcast, guys, because Pete really broke it down better than I could, and it's so much closer to him because he's a Pacers fan, and
oh my god,
that was kind of the end of an era when that happened. So definitely listen to the podcast, guys, because he really broke it down very well. I didn't speak much of that part at all. It was pretty much Pete, and I told him the only thing I could relate it to, because I'm a Knicks fan, was the Charlie Ward PJ Brown brawl that got 5 Knicks suspended, and they wound up blowing a 3-1 lead and losing that series, which to me was their last best chance to beat Jordan's Bulls, because with how they were playing at that time, I think they would have won. I don't know, obviously, and beating Jordan's always a tough thing to do.
But nobody did it. That's the thing.
So, but that was their best chance for me, because it was the perfect blend of the young, of the older. Patrick Ewing was obviously at the end of his career, but they brought in Allen Houston and then Pete's favorite Larry Johnson, and
never was touched. That wasn't a foul.
It really wasn't. I'm a Knicks fan, and I totally. But it was such an amazing moment.
I mean, it's typical Knicks. Like, let's make a big deal out of something that was nothing. Like, John Starks didn't dunk over Jordan, and Larry Johnson was
to the side. Yeah, they were to the side. That was more like of a side thing.
Typical Knicks.
If it was anything, he dunked more on Horace Grant.
The visiting team does better things in their own building than their own team. It's just.
But it was. Look again. There apparently we have. Steve brought up the hanging Vanilla Ice out of the window, which we talked about also as the Suge Knight on the podcast.
I mean, outside of being in the Ninja Turtles movie, that's probably Vanilla Ice's it's being Suge Knight's pinata.
But man, that that Garrett's bringing up Informer, which I know he meant Snow, but yeah, there we go. Oh, he corrected himself. My fault. There he goes. He corrects himself.
Has anyone in the chat ever seen Cool as Ice? Is anyone that Eric? You're old. Like, have you seen Cool as Ice? I actually checked out Rip Van Winkle's Instagram page today, and there's a Cool as Ice action figure with a motorcycle. I mean, I can't. Lauer might buy it. I can't.
No, that was that I remember.
You did watch it, didn't you?
No, I did not watch it. I remember seeing the commercial for it and laughing at every line he said. And I was still young at the time. I was still in high school, I believe, when that came out. So I was still fairly young at the time. But god,
the hero go with the hero,
right? That's what he said. That's Stephen. Thank you. That's the line I was talking about. That was the line I was talking about.
Who used more hair product, Vanilla Ice in the day or DJ Pauly D?
Yo, that would be tough. That would be
It's a good question, right?
Yeah, that would be a tough. We'd need some kind of calibrator or some kind of tool to check that, because both of them.
Just light a match. Whoever goes up in flames first wins.
Well, I hate to say this because it sounds evil, but that wouldn't bother me at all. I can't stand either one of them, so it'd be fine if that happened.
Oh,
look at Lauer putting in, obviously. Chime in with Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
I'm still waiting for Lauer to give me permission to watch The Long Halloween. The guy says I can't watch it. He's like the definitive authority on this story. So what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, this was what we were talking about.
No man's land, like a loser.
We were talking about this a little bit too. I thought it was real estate, but it's do it yourself. Vanilla Ice has a
I knew it was
DIY.
a reality TV show and home.
Yeah.
So.
He does have that. So yeah, it's Steve, you're right, man. He's had a remarkable career in the fact that he obviously had these huge heights as a rapper when he first came out.
I think at one point he did death metal too.
Well, yeah, he did when rap rock came in and like Limp Bizkit and everything was popular. He tried to re-image himself.
Yeah. Those two guys, the biggest douchebags in the world, Vanilla Ice and Fred Durst.
He tried to do that. That didn't work out. But the man I have to say, you can't knock his hustle because he keeps popping up. He just keeps popping up every time.
You know, to be almost, it's weird how he stayed relevant, right?
Yes,
he did go through like a decade where like he probably should have died. Like he was big into drugs and he hit rock bottom. Like I'm not saying like that. In
yes,
like Pete Davidson Blackguard way. I'm saying that in like, oh man, this guy hit rock bottom way.
Everyone has seen the behind the music, Vanilla Ice behind the music.
Wait, he's been in Sandler movies.
He has.
Man, Adam Sandler's career has really fallen off. If he's doing Netflix movies with Vanilla Ice,
I had no idea he was in Sandler movies.
Oh, stop it! Fred Durst is horrible, and I do like Chocolate Starfish. I like that album, but that doesn't mean it's good music.
Well, the first one was better, but first album was better.
Starfish is my favorite.
But no, I mean, look, that was a snapshot in time, right? That was rap rock was popular, and you know, it was weird because you talk like Kid Rock, right? Who came out at that time and did it, but he was a hip hop DJ first, so he's really more of a rap guy. Like he always loved rap. He loved Run DMC and all that.
Didn't Kid Rock do country music at some point?
Yeah, he's gone the other way now. He's completely gone the other direction with his music. So
what is he doing now?
Well, no, he still does like I said, he still does country music, and he had that hit with Sheryl Crow called "Picture."
Oh, and don't forget, we're still working on our Uxas remixes. Don't forget that.
We are.
We got the DMX one, and we got I tweeted one too long ago. You don't know.
Yes,
Uxas.
That's true. Not only did you tweet it, you sent us audio clips in our chat.
I made clips of songs.
With clips of the songs, which God.
Nobody loves Uxas more than me, and that includes all those crazy zaddies.
Oh, Garrett. Oh, you. By musical.
Why did you put that up? All complaints go to @FinalE33 on Twitter.
So it does because it goes along with the Tim Drake theme, the by musical. It's fine. Just whatever.
He's being controversial.
He is, but that's what Garrett
does.
No,
you.
Me?
You. Poking the bear, stirring the fire.
Yeah, I do like to do that every once in a while. I'm not going to lie.
Uxas.
Okay, do that.
Eric, I want to hear you say Uxas.
No.
Come on.
No, it's your thing. It's your thing.
Yeah, but you are my thing. So therefore it's our thing.
Whoa. Be easy now.
Whoa.
Be easy.
That was my mom's joke. Oh, God.
Go Mama Grev. I want to meet Mama Grev.
Everyone in the chat loves Uxas except for Eric. Like I don't get it.
Uxas?
I look at everyone's just saying Uxas in the thread, man.
Because if they don't, you'll like do something to them.
That's not true at all.
They're afraid of you.
Hashtag Uxas roll call. I sent you guys a good one today. I hope you listened to it.
I didn't. I saw it, but I have to. I'll go back and listen to it.
Yeah, you disappoint me.
I'm sorry.
I don't know you. I don't want to know you.
Sorry.
Where's Zeddy? Get Zeddy back in here.
So the people who came in late, who we haven't really heard from yet. Garrett, have you read Batman 89 yet? I don't know if you told us if you've read it or not. I don't know if Garrett has. Zeddy, did you read it? Because you didn't say either. I know Nico said he didn't. read it.
I'm trying not to get the light in there, but look at how awesome this cover is.
It is. Cool. It is awesome. So
Saxy, what is that? Like White Sox backwards, Zeddy? What does that mean?
I don't know what he's doing.
Oh man. But that's cool. Hey, so Superman and Lois, who watched it? I have to catch up. Yankees played the day games, so threw everything out of Wax
Okay.
today.
If Nico is still here, maybe he and I had a nice conversation about Superman and Lois. I did watch it. I'm all up to date.
Send that scrub a link. Get him in here.
So
Where
not
is
going
he?
to talk about this again.
Well, I just want to see you argue with somebody else.
I'm not going to argue with him. We kind of had a conversation. It was last night.
I can't wait
Steve.
to argue with him. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it so I can argue with him. I love arguing with Nico.
He brought up some good points. Like it, I still enjoy
Steve,
it.
It was last night. The episode was last night.
I still enjoy the show. Obviously, I still think it's very well done. I think it's a good tale of Superman. I do think that they should have ended it. Nico brought this up, and I think he's right. I think they should have ended it a couple episodes ago.
But all the CW shows are like 20-some episodes.
I know, but I think
they run long seasons.
I think when the pandemic shut it down, I don't know where they were in filming at that point, like what episode they were up to, but I know it got shut down. I think they probably could have just ended the season there, and they didn't. And
I don't know if they wanted to do that 2 years in a row, though. Like, well, not for Superman and Lois, but just CW, because remember, all the CW shows ended abruptly and had to conclude this year.
Right, even Doom Patrol, right? Like even Doom Patrol did the same thing.
So I feel like the only DC show that made it out clear was Titans, and that didn't do him any favors.
No, Titans didn't either.
Titans ended early too.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah, that was the only one that ended up getting their full season, I think.
Yeah,
and it was weird because it's like the first episode of that show should have been the season finale the year before.
Right, the first episode of season 2 should have been the season finale.
So they were ahead of the game. They beat everybody to it.
Right, but no, I think I think Superman and Lois now is getting to a point where they're trying to cram too much in to the episodes, and I think I think they should skip some of the characters in some episodes and just focus on one thing and then go back to it later. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Like I still enjoy it. It's still a good show. I think the last something. I don't know where you are in the story, so I don't want to say too much.
What? So I'm up to date. I'm not up to date. I just missed the last episode.
Oh, just the last episode.
I'm just one behind.
All right, so
I'm actually caught up on CW.
So we saw what happened with Edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like Zeddy just said it, the throwback episode 2 probably would have been a good way to.
Looks great,
right? Probably would have good cliffhanger ending season 2. I just think now they're trying to cram too much in, and I don't know what their order is for the season. I don't know how many shows they have to watch.
It was like 20
to make, because this is weird too, right? Well, like we're rolling into September, October, which is normally when shows begin, and this season hasn't even ended yet. So I don't know. I still enjoy it, but it's kind of now. I kind of agree with what Nico and even Zeddy said now that they should have ended it and thrown this stuff into season 2 where you could have elongated it, stretched it out a bit more.
Doesn't Netflix do that? They do shorter seasons, right? The Netflix shows, didn't they do like 14 episodes or something like that?
Yeah.
And Defenders was like 8.
Yeah.
But CW does 20-some episodes. I mean, even Supergirl. It's interesting how certain networks mandate episodes and whatnot. You know, you think a shorter season would benefit a show, actually.
Yep, I do think for content sometimes, and to keep things condensed, you should do that. Do a shorter, and then if the show continues, which we know it got picked up for season 2, so then you can just add these extra elements in the next season. But I still think the interpretation is strong, and I think the show will continue to be a strong show. I just don't. Got to see next year.
Did you watch Stargirl yet?
I haven't watched the first episode yet. I do want to catch it. Have you? Did you watch it?
No, I'm gonna watch it after this show. I'm gonna watch them both after this.
Did anyone watch it in the chat? Has anyone seen?
But feel free to tell me about it. Like, I mean, you're not gonna,
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I don't know. I've seen some tweets relating to it, but I've tried to avoid them because I want to watch it. So that's a good point, Jacob. That's a very good point. They don't need that many episodes because, So that's a very good point. We're a Biggie and Tupac. I thought you froze for a minute there, Pete.
No. I was looking at my fantasy game.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at my fantasy baseball team.
So yes, we're coming upon that as well. I'm wearing. There we go. So the Batman on Film Fantasy Football League will be drafting at the end of the month. We have some members. Well, if Garrett's still here, he's a member, and you're a member of the league. So, guys, I know, Bill, if you guys, anyone in the chat is interested in fantasy football and you want to be the BOF one, I know Bill was talking about doing a second one. So if you guys want...
I think he is doing a second one. I think he's talking about doing a third one.
Well, he did a second one last year.
My real question is, why are all these people joining the football league and not joining our Facebook group?
What do you mean?
There's like 700 members of the BOF Facebook group, and I'm trying really hard to get them to migrate in. I hope the great Alexander Hill's watching. I've been trying to get that guy's attention for months.
But if you're putting it there, what's the incentive for them to come here?
Because they're not paying attention. It's kind of like breadcrumbs,
Jacob, don't bring up the CFL. Come on.
I want some more CFL stuff. Jacob was talking to me
they have a center yard line. It's not a 50-yard line, and then they go off of that, and the field is wider, I think.
I think it's longer. I don't think it's wider.
I
think it's fascinating how the goalposts are in the front of the end zone.
Yes.
I want to hang out with Reno and watch the Alouettes play, and then just hang out at the Big O. That's what I want
Chris.
To do. Jacob? Where in Canada do you live? Do you live near Montreal? Because when the world goes back to normal in 2045, I'm going to make a trip up there to see Reno.
2045.
Yeah, when
we can go now, though. We can go.
Can you go? Is the border open?
Yeah, the border's open. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, good. All right. I guess they had to open it for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Can't play the Stanley Cup unless you're.
Well, no. Well, you should have known when the the Blue Jays went back to Toronto.
I didn't know they opened the border. I just thought they let the Blue Jays.
It was around the same time that happened.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, guys, get ready for your fantasy football seasons. I know you guys are all out there.
Where is Saskatchewan? Give me an idea where Saskatchewan is there. I know the Rough Riders.
Why don't you just Google it and see it on a map? How about that?
Fine. I don't want to talk to you anywhere anyway.
There's a thing called Google, Pete, that we have that you can check yourself.
Excuse me for being interactive with the listeners.
You are, but you could check yourself and then come back and say, "Oh, that's where it is. It's a province." Thank you, Jake. See, now he's being a wise ass. He's saying it's a province.
Well, I hope it is. If it's a state, it's in the wrong country.
Oh, Zeddy's throwing barbs. He's throwing barbs. Throwing jabs at you, Pete. Throwing jabs.
I mean, they're damn good. I don't know if they're going to beat the Astros. I don't know who's going to win that series. That'll be a series to watch.
That's a cool thing we could talk about. So the Yankees and the White Sox are playing tomorrow, but they're playing in Iowa at the Field of Dreams. So
yeah,
that's a pretty cool story.
It's not the actual field from the movie, though. They built a separate field in the same cornfield, basically, and you could walk from one to another. There's a path. I checked it out on Google Maps because I wanted to see the path. It's really easy to find. I just typed in the town in Iowa, and it's the only baseball on the map, so it's easy to see. It looks really cool.
It only holds 8,000 people. And they said the tickets start at $1,400 to go see.
That sounds very affordable for people in Iowa. That's great. Way to go, Rob Manfred.
Right? Like when I heard that, I'm kind of like, oh man, like why don't you just make this free? First come, first serve.
Or I don't know, $20. I tell you what, they better get free hot dogs.
Okay, I do want to address this because I'm not sure, actually, Steven. They haven't said when we're getting part 2 of Master of the Universe yet. Some people think it's going to be October, November. Some people might think it might not be till the beginning of next year. I know Garrett and I have been promoting a show we're going to do, and we were discussing whether
the BOF satellite show?
No. That's a different guy. That's a different guy. But Garrett and I had been talking about doing we are going to be doing a Master of the Universe podcast. We were deciding whether we want to do it now or we wanted to do it right after the first part came out, or we wanted to wait until the whole thing came out. So we're going to wait until the whole thing comes out to do it. And then we're going to do the day before it's released, we'll do our part 1 review. And then after part 2 is out, or the next 5 episodes, however many we're getting.
But yeah, but you guys get a bunch of history to talk about. There's stuff that, like you can get warmed up, get some chemistry going,
Yeah.
Our pilot episode, we talked about remember we talked about Gotham and the Joker, or whatever that stupid thing was in that show.
Jeremiah,
Jerome, horrible, whatever you want to call it. Cheap purple suit and makeup.
Right. Steve, there was a lot of backlash on Master of the Universe. Yes. But I
love it when other fan bases get angry, because I'm kind of like in my own world. I'm pretty much like DC comic book only. So like when the Star Wars nerds get all upset, I revel in it. And then these Masters of the Universe fans are all upset. And I'm like, oh man, it's like, I was like, so this is how dumb we look from the other side.
There is no comparison to Star Wars fans. Like literally, there's none. You can't. We are a special breed. And they get offended at this most silly crap. And I love the movies. I love the universe. It's the thing I grew up on. It's the thing I love the most. But man, I cannot stand the fan base sometimes. It really takes the joy out of watching those films and shows. The only things that now is we have positive momentum with The Mandalorian, and The Bad Batch has gotten good.
You love that show. You talk about it all the time.
Yeah, The Bad Batch, I was a show that I wasn't sure I was going to like because I didn't love their appearance in Rebels. I mean, not Rebels, in the Clone Wars. And I've grown to love the show because it's doing world building in a part of Star Wars that we haven't seen before. So I've enjoyed it.
Which is interesting to hear you say that, because I feel like Star Wars is all about world building.
Yeah.
To take it in a new level, in a new direction is very intriguing. I've never heard anyone say that about the show.
Well, it's the world building between episode 3 and episode 4, right? So you have this time period which really hasn't been explored much after Order 66 and what happens in Revenge of the Sith. There's this time period there that's really always kind of been...
I've seen Revenge of the Sith. I've watched that movie. And I did it for you.
You say that, I still don't believe.
You are so full of shit. I watched all 3 of those movies for you. I like The Phantom Menace the most. Episode 2 sucks. Episode 3 is really cool. And then the ending is really awesome. But like, I watched them all. I wanted to do a Star Wars show. Eric won't let me do a Star Wars show. Laura won't let me watch The Long Halloween. What can I do? What is wrong with all of you? Let me be me.
Oh, you are being you.
Angry and loud.
Did I say, who was it? Alex Jones, right? That's what I said. That it was the Alex Jones thing. I said that.
Don't say that. People are going to think I'm like Alex Jones.
Well, you're doing a good impersonation of him right now.
Oh, Alex Jones.
I'm sorry. If you want to do, I want to do a Star Wars show. So if you want to be on the show, sure, let's do it. That's fine.
Can I be on my own show?
No, I was gonna do it as a separate thing. I wasn't gonna do it here. I was gonna do it like a Rick Shoe thing.
Hey, why does BOF do Star Wars shows? Because Burger King has a chicken sandwich. That's why. The greatest Rick Shoe line of all time. I love that phrase. I do. I absolutely love it.
What is Zeddy talking about here?
I love Ricky Joe Shoe. Dude, Zeddy and Steph, they're having some things. He's going through some relationship stuff right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so but we still love him. He's our Zeddy.
All right, Steven, I'm gonna kick you out now. Sorry. Gotta let you go.
I liked Last Jedi. What was wrong with that movie?
Gotta boot you out.
Is that the one where Leia floats randomly? Like
yes.
After, yeah.
That
was the only weird thing, but like, I don't know. It didn't really bother me.
That is the most controversial Star Wars movie ever. Without a doubt. Yes. Without a doubt. Of all the things that there's been controversy over.
Well, that was dope.
That one is the most controversial.
Awesome fight scenes.
And I try not to get too involved in it anymore because I had my say when it was out and I don't really have much to say anymore. But just to say that I still love the movie and I still watch it all the time. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to get into arguments with people. And I'm kidding, Steven. I understand the arguments against the movie and why people don't like it. I do get it. So
the only Disney era Star Wars movie that I actually didn't like was Force Awakens.
And that's funny because that's the one that most people love.
Yeah. It just kind of seemed like A New Hope Part 2.
So it was. It's very much
it's the one I enjoy the least. I think Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker was. I remember when I watched Rise of Skywalker, and this happens all the time with Star Wars stuff. I'm like, what the hell are these idiots arguing about? Sorry, I was like, that movie was entertaining as hell. And you know me, I love to talk trash on Star Wars.
Of course,
I do. I love it. But I was like, this is entertaining. This is good. I think it might be easier not being a fan. And I'm just, when it comes to Star Wars, I'm just GA. You know, I'm part of that stupid group. So
right, you're a general audience. You know, I actually prefer talking to the general audience because they don't have years of their life invested in watching this thing. So they're just like, okay, it's Star Wars, let's go watch it.
I like talking to normal people.
Yeah, literally, like kind of like how you get about, say, Spider-Man, right? Like we joke about Spider-Man and MCU Spider-Man and stuff, but it's kind of how you feel about that is the way I get. I much prefer to talk to people who don't have any knowledge of Star Wars, who are very limited and just want to watch a movie because they heard it was cool.
It's funny that you bring that because how I feel about MCU Spider-Man is how like the rest of the world felt about DCEU Batfleck. It's like this weird like parallel. Like I was like, this isn't him. He's totally out of character. And I'm like, no, that's his arc. Don't you see what he was doing?
It's true. You're a contradiction with those two. I will say that you're very contradictory with how you feel about Batfleck and MCU Spider-Man.
I admit it.
but that's the cool thing. Like if you could say, yeah, I get it. I'm being, it's just, it's not my thing. It's not I don't like it. And that's fine. I don't like what you like, man. Whether it's comic book characters, movies,
Yeah.
Amen, you Steve. Love.
Amen. BVS rules. That's right, baby.
Oh, Jesus. I'm not going to go in there. Oh, so we could talk about our lists.
You want to talk DCEU rankings?
We did it on the show. We did it very fast on the podcast, but this might be a better avenue for us to talk about it because we're looking at each other. I'm
pulling up Letterboxd.
We're
looking at each other when we record the podcast too.
Oh, that's true. I'm an idiot.
You're always looking at me.
That's right.
Beautiful.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, beautiful. Like Killer Croc would say.
Yes. Yeah, you are. Sorry. Being Harley there for a minute.
Oh, Harley. I love her.
Yes. By the way, just real quick on the Suicide Squad, she was incredible.
I watched it for a third time on HBO Max the other day.
That's it. Her
twice in theaters, 3 times on Max.
Her performance and the arc they gave her and everything they gave her to do, she was incredible. Like that's just it.
The only thing I didn't dig was that whole like date scene. I thought that was the only thing I didn't like really in the movie.
But it ended typical Harley. Like that was
I know it did. I don't know. For me, I was kind of like, I just kind of thought you could have done without it. Like I said in the podcast, I thought you could have went from her picking up the javelin, getting caught, to her being tased by the general, and it wouldn't have, the movie wouldn't have been any different.
Yeah, it's fair.
Because you still get that amazing breakout scene, like
but
as long as that scene's intact, I think that whole like journey's fine.
Yeah, they would have had to get rid of what's his name in some other way, but yeah, you're right.
I mean, he could have died with the rest of them with Starro, to be honest.
Possible. Yeah, that's true. Or become one of the zombies, the Starro zombies. Could have been that.
Yeah. So.
All right, so Pete, I'll let you go first. Run down your list.
Okay, here we go. Okay, no, well, hold on. I got to pull up my list. That's Reno's.
And then I'll leave it up to you guys. If you guys want to share in the comments, you could do that and we'll put it up on the screen.
So we're just talking DC Extended Universe.
Yes, okay. not right. Batman movies. Just
okay. So at number 1, I have Wonder Woman 2017. Number 2, Shazam. Number 3, I have Aquaman. Number 4, BVS. Yeah. 5, I have Man of Steel. 6, I have Birds of Prey and the Immaculate Emancipation of Harley Quinn. If that's the name of the movie, I can't remember. 7, I have The Suicide Squad. At 8, I have Zack Snyder's Justice League. At 9, I have Wonder Woman 1984. I have the David Ayer Assembly possible Warner Brothers cut of Suicide Squad at number 10. And then at number 11, I have Justice League 2017.
Okay, so my list goes like this. I have Wonder Woman.
BVS at 1.
Wonder Woman first. The Suicide Squad is second. I have Aquaman third. Man of Steel fourth. Shazam is fifth. Birds of Prey sixth. Wonder Woman 84 7. Justice League 2017.
Yes.
8? Yeah. Then Zack Snyder's Justice League, followed by Suicide Squad, and BVS is last.
Steve, what are we going to do with this guy?
Which I'm sure people are going to ask me questions about. But as I explained to Pete, that movie for me, the reason I don't like it is because I had such high expectations for it, and it just really didn't hit them. I love but I do love Batfleck, and I love Affleck's Batman. That's the one part of the movie that I really, really love. So, I don't know. There are parts of it that, again, that I really enjoy. I'm one of the few who like Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. I know a lot of people don't.
Zeddy dropped his list. Zeddy bomb.
Where I don't see it. Oh, there we go.
It's in the chat.
I'm going to post Zeddy's list, and then we can attack it.
I mean, I love Zeddy. I don't attack Zeddy.
So there we go.
I mean, I'll attack him for these 3 games. Wonder Woman, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Suicide Squad, BVS, Man of Steel, Shazam, BOP. That's a good list. I don't have any issues with that list. It's weird to me how I feel like I'm the only one who's like in love with Shazam. I'm with Evans. I like Eisenberg's Lex.
Pete,
it's nowhere near Cryer's, but I like Eisenberg's Lex.
Pete, I put it 5th. I like Shazam plenty.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I have it at number 2. Like, I think Shazam is a damn good movie. I think
there's
so much heart in that. I haven't bawled tears like that in a comic book movie since, Uncle Ben died the first time. It's just, I just love Billy's journey and how his mom is just as big of a villain in that movie as
Polka Dot Man's mom.
Oh, dude, Polka Dot Man's mom. Who's the worst mother, Polka Dot Man's mom or Billy Batson's mom?
That's gonna be on the next Dr. Phil, by the way.
That's a good one.
Topic.
I like
Dr.
that.
Phil.
I'm all about that. That's interesting.
Anyone else want to share their list if you have one?
I know Evans has got a list.
Yeah, I know Evans does. I know Garrett does. I think he left because he was asking us about how to use Letterboxd yesterday or the day before.
He's such a dad.
So he really is. He's such a dad. Good dad. Very good dad. But he's very much a dad. All right, so Jacob threw his list out. We'll go through it now.
I haven't seen Jacob's. Okay, here we go.
There we go.
I like that number 1, kid. Shazam 3, I like that.
Wonder Woman, you have that low? Come on.
Interesting you have 84 above Wonder Woman. That's a very interesting take.
Very interesting take. That I'm sorry with my visceral reaction to that, but that I can't believe. That's a shock.
I feel like a lot of people have the same final 2. It's always like the theatrical cut of JL and Suicide Squad. They're always like the last 2.
Seriously, Chris? I never had you pegged for a what we affectionately call a zaddy. I never had you pegged for one of them.
It's just, that movie is just a little too long for me, man. It's really great in what it does, but I can't sit down and watch it in a sitting. And to be honest, sometimes BVS can feel like that too. As much as I love BVS,
there are very slow parts to BVS. Yes,
yeah, but it's weird because like I can sit down and watch The Godfather and it doesn't feel like a 3-hour movie.
No disrespect to BVS, but The Godfather is written.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm just talking about long movies, though. Like
I'm just saying I could watch the full Godfather saga that they show now. That's like 7 hours or whatever.
You're gonna watch the first 3 and then
I can watch that before I would watch Zack Snyder's Justice League. And
I remember when Coda came out, I watched them back to back. That's 9 hours of the same movie, and all they did was change the beginning and the end.
It's just so. Oh, we could do if we ever did a show on The Godfather, Pete. It would be a super long show because it's just.
It sounds like that's going to be on
perfect.
Italians for Spider-Man, and you're going to do a guest appearance.
Oh, okay. I'm in.
That's what that sounds like.
Let's see. Zeddy asked a good question. Do you think Shazam 2 should switch dates with Aquaman? Sandberg said on Twitter's rapid filming in a few weeks. Why sit on the movie for a whole year?
I don't know if it should switch date. The thing that concerns me about Aquaman is like I think Aquaman and the Flash might actually be playing at the same time. If you look at their dates, I think their dates are really close.
I'm wondering if they're gonna do Aquaman first because of how successful it was. The first one was, and they want to kind of keep that momentum going. I wouldn't have a problem with it because it's
hard to keep momentum going when you wait years between these movies, though, right? Like it's not like the MCU where like the one movie sets up the next, so therefore momentum is just the thing. But like,
the pandemic kind of threw all of that. Right, that's the reason why all these movies were pushed back to begin with. So,
was Aquaman pushed back because of the pandemic?
Everything was.
I don't know if Aquaman was. I think Aquaman's starting when it's supposed to.
I don't believe so, but I could be wrong.
I know, like movies in production. I know obviously the Batman.
Chris brings up a good point as well.
Yeah,
I wonder how I wonder what in Black Adam is going to be connected to Shazam because I do think there will be something in it. That's my opinion.
I would imagine the Wizard would be the connective tissue in there.
But I think there might be something like a connection between the characters that they reveal in Black Adam, some kind of, going forward.
So, because Black Adam makes that, rockless cameo in Shazam. I tell you what, man, I am really excited for that movie. Like,
I'm excited.
Obviously, the Batman stuff, the Batman and the Flash for the obvious reasons. But Black Adam and the Rock, dude, that thing I think is gonna be a juggernaut.
All right, this is something. Let's talk about this because this is something, and you guys can chime in as we're talking about it because this is something I've been reading and seeing a lot, and I think it's a lot of panic. I think people are just scared. I don't think the Batman is going to get pushed back again, and I don't think. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I don't think the Delta variant is going to be as bad as the media says. If you look at the Netherlands,
Johns Hopkins map makes it seem like it's pretty bad right now.
Well, if you look at the Netherlands and you look at Great Britain and you look at the countries who recently have had to deal with it, you had an incline of cases that kind of went like this, and then they just dropped off the map. Like they completely dropped off. So I think what we're seeing is the unvaccinated people who are getting the Delta variant. And I think once, I hate to say this, but once we hit the limit of the unvaccinated, I think you're going to see a stark drop in those cases. And I don't think it's going to last till March. I've seen some doctors say it could literally end by the Delta variant threat could end in September. Again, I'm not a doctor.
That's until the next variant.
Well, that's what obviously viruses mutate, right? So I don't want to get into a whole COVID discussion, but
Is this left crew politics?
I know, right? No, it doesn't even be political. This is more just like medicine. And like I said, I'm not a doctor. I just know
anything that involves corona and masks and all this stuff becomes political. You know that. I'm not lying. I'm with you're not lying, Jake. I'm with you the whole way. But
that's true. I'm with you as well.
Don't forget, Warner Brothers dropped an entire movie slate, and we got like 4 of them. So
I know.
Just be happy we get what we get at this point.
Well, I will say this.
Anything.
Yeah, I will say this for Steven's point. When I went to see the Suicide Squad, they did have the trailer for the Batman.
I did. I saw it twice. I didn't see the Batman trailer.
Yeah,
I went to Regal though.
My theater did. So
what theater did you go to?
AMC.
Maybe it's an AMC thing.
I don't know.
I have an AMC in town. I'll go check that out.
Right.
They don't have reclining seats though.
Yes. Well, mine does. Oh, okay.
My AMC does not.
So Zeddy bringing it up too, which is a good point as well. I'm not gonna talk about that part of it because I said it to you guys in the chat. I just don't want to go there right now. but we'll see what happens. I do agree with Zeddy though. I think the Batman has to hit its date. I think it has to come out.
I think the Batman needs to be a hit. I think
Yes,
if the Batman's not a hit, Warner Brothers and DC got problems.
But it's weird though. I feel if Black Adam is a hit, that might be okay. Like it might soften the blow because obviously The Rock is in Black Adam, so you automatically going to get people going to see it just because of him, right? He's one of those draws.
Yeah, I mean, look at Jungle Cruise.
So, right. So I mean, that kind of an angle.
And the dude remade 2 Jumanji movies.
I know.
He took a Robin Williams movie.
Man, he's done some crap films though. Like Skyscraper and San Andreas.
That's the one about the earthquake, right? That one was weird. I didn't dig that.
San Andreas was so bad.
I don't like that one.
The CGI was terrible. Like
Justice League bad, yeah.
No, Justice League CGI was better than that one, than San Andreas. But yeah,
he was in Rampage, right? Was he in Rampage?
He was in Rampage. Yes,
I liked Rampage.
Film as well.
Rampage. Yeah.
Yes. Man, he's done some really bad. Chris is right too. He mentions he did do good for the Fast and Furious franchise.
You like Hobbs and Shaw?
I did. I was one of the few people who liked.
And Bloodsport was in there, right?
Yes, he was.
He's a Black Superman.
He was. Yeah, basically. Well, no, he was in the movie. Yeah,
he said it in the trailer. I didn't see the movie. I don't like Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah. Oh, come on, you gotta watch it. So
nah, man, dude, I checked out after Tokyo Drift.
That was the bad point because that wasn't a good one. They got better after that.
Dude, I mean, I thought 2 was bad, and then Tokyo Drift, I was like, I'm out. I really dig the first one though. I love the first Fast and Furious. I think that's great, to be honest.
But yeah, but he's done. But I do think Black Adam. I think it's going to be a hit, because of him. I do. It'll
definitely put butts in the seats. I just hope it's good enough to get repeat viewings. That's what gives these movies legs.
Right. Which brings us back to the No, I'm not going to go there. We could talk about the Suicide Squad box office again, but we talked about it on the podcast, so you guys.
I'll just really quickly. Like, I don't know how you can judge box office right now. Like, I just don't. Like, it does. But then again, like, it's weird. People are going to sporting events, but people aren't going to the movie. Or are they not going to movies, or just are they not seeing this movie because they didn't like the first movie? So like,
so many variables.
It's so up in the air. I don't know how you could have a definitive take.
Thank you, Garrett. This is why we're friends. These movies are just fun to watch. Fast and Furious movies are fun to watch.
I want to watch a good car movie, I'm watching
Easy Rider?
Vanishing Point.
Okay.
You ever see Vanishing Point?
What about Drive?
Drive's good. I like the Transporter movie, the first one.
What about, oh crap, I'm forgetting the one. It just came out a couple of years ago with
Bumblebee.
Elgort. No. John Hamm. Kevin Spacey. I know the cast. Baby Driver, yes.
I dug Baby Driver. Great soundtrack, by the way.
Yeah. Italian Job.
Both of them. I like both of them.
Yep. Smokey and the Bandit. That's another good one.
First Smokey and the Bandit, I really like.
Yeah, we're going through all these lists. Smokey and the Bandit. Good pull, Steven. Yeah. Good pull,
Kowalski.
Chris.
Yeah, the good Kowalski, not the bad kind. Justin. The good one. The good Kowalski.
Yes, Chris, thank you, Baby Driver. Yeah, all of those I liked for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So Cars, obviously, yes, the Cars movies, the animated ones, those are good. Those are good movies too. I enjoy watching those.
What about the Dukes of Hazzard movie?
Jessica Simpson.
That's a famous car.
Jessica Simpson looked good.
Speed does count. The first one, not the second. Gone in 60 Seconds and Family Man are the only 2 movies by Nicolas Cage I like. I know Chris Evans is going to hate that, but I think Nicolas Cage is a horrible actor. I just do.
I hate saying this, but I haven't seen this yet. I do still want to watch it, but yeah, I haven't seen Ford vs Ferrari yet. Nick. I called him Nick. I never called him Nick. Zeddy. But as your son should love of cars, Steven. Your son is a young lad, so as he should. But I definitely movies with cars in it are usually at least somewhat watchable. I can't obviously Transformers, but not all of them. But they're more robots than cars anyway. So I still like. I haven't seen Last Night. Don't. I have to though. I have to see it. No, at some point I'll have to see it. Trust me, you don't. I've seen all of them except for that one. I skipped it and I saw Bumblebee. Stanley Tucci is in it again, playing a completely different character.
I love Michael Bay. I love Michael Bay.
Like, what are you talking about?
I love Michael Bay.
Oh my god!
This is Garrett's idea. Michael Bay would make an amazing Superman movie. I mean, I'm talking truth, justice, and the American way at its finest.
He would definitely make an explosive Superman movie. We know that. We know that for sure.
Michael Bay's gonna be like Zack Snyder, hold my beer.
Pretty much.
I'm gonna show you guys how to destroy a city.
Yes, there is only one, which is the original one that came out in 1985 or 1886. Sorry,
I thought of that movie while I was watching the Suicide Squad because the G1 squad dies.
But Ricky Church actually did a good article on the Transformers 35th anniversary of the movie coming out. It's going to be re-released by Fathom Events. Yeah, Fathom Events is going to be showing it. I'm going. I want to see it, so I'm again.
Favorite Transformer?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh God, that's a tough one. Man.
Mine are Jazz and Ironhide. Those are my favorites.
I always liked Grimlock. Man, I mean, obviously, I like Optimus Prime. He's not my favorite, but everyone kind of likes Optimus Prime. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jazz, Ironhide, they're both good choices. Ratchet. It's weird.
I love Soundwave's voice.
Right, like if
my
you're talking
favorite
about
Decepticon.
Right, Decepticons. Yeah, Soundwave is probably.
You want to know something funny? My radio show in college was called Blaster Radio because I named I named it after Blaster. It just made sense to me. I was like, oh, he's a boombox. I should name it after Blaster.
I had when I was a kid, I liked planes a lot, so the aerial bots were always favorites of mine, like Jetfire and all. They're always been favorites of mine.
When did you watch Beast Wars, bro?
I never did. I don't know why. It was obviously long past my time that I was into.
I mean, they got Beast Wars is coming back, so I think you should get into it.
I know they're doing like
not the sequel series that took place on Cybertron. Skip that. That's trash. But Beast Wars itself is amazing.
Well, the last of the trilogy for Transformers, was just put on Netflix last week, so it just came out. But definitely check that. If you guys are Transformers fans, those are really excellently done. So check them out. All three of them are very, very well done. Mostly G1 characters. They even have Alita 1 in it, which she's very much more. She wasn't really seen much in the original cartoon, but she's in this. She has a pretty big role. So definitely check that out if you guys are Transformers fans. They haven't seen it yet. It's on Netflix. There's 3. The War for Cybertron. There's 3 series.
You were telling me about that.
The 3rd one was just released, so definitely check that out. Yeah, see, Beast Wars was just not during my. It was after my time.
It's got to be on some streaming service, though, right?
Oh, I could find it.
You could probably buy it on iTunes if you really needed to.
I could find it. But they're actually a part of season 3 of War for Cybertron. The Beast Wars characters.
Okay.
So I'm getting exposed to them a little more now. Optimus Primal and
Rat Trap, Cheetor.
Yeah, they're just pretty cool. So, but yeah, guys, if you're, into Transformers, watch those Netflix shows. Definitely, I want to.
Shot.
Ricky Church and I have talked about doing stuff for Transformers, so we'll see how that goes. I have a lot of stuff working. So we've talked about Star Wars, we talked about Master of the Universe, we've talked about all these different shows I'm going to be doing. So Garrett's back in the room. Garrett, when are we doing our Master of the Universe show?
Are you kidding me? He's the second busiest dad I know. I don't know if he's got the time.
Well, he has to. He's the one who created the Twitter handle for our show, From Here to Eternia. That was I came up with the name. Thank you. So we
get no credit, Garrett.
We kicked a couple around, but
what was the one you liked the least?
Oh God, I have to look on my phone to remember them because we were texting it back and forth. Uh, but yeah,
I just see like, what was the name of the what's it called? The other like kaiju in Godzilla 2014. What do they call that? Muto.
yeah, yeah.
Every time someone writes Masters of the Universe, but they do it in shorthand, I think of Ken Wannabes just saying Muto. Let them fight. Like I think of that. That's always the first thing that pops in my head.
Yeah, Steven, it's coming. We're gonna do it. Trust me. We're coming. It's coming.
I don't care what comics Eric reads as long as he reads more comics.
What prequel comics? Star
Did
Wars.
you just do
comics?
a people's eyebrow?
I did.
Wow, you could do that? That's cool. I can't do that.
I don't know what he's talking about. Oh wait, the Master of the Universe ones that used to come with the toys. Those comics. I read them obviously when I was a kid. But I don't recall everything that was in them. but
Revelations.
Yeah.
Evans just said Revelations is a prequel comic.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll check that out then.
We got to get Eric to read more comics. It's such a struggle. It's such
my
a struggle.
fault, fellas. My fault. I will definitely start out. Hey, I have that site where I can just read anything for free after it comes out. So
it's horrible.
I literally have no excuse.
Piracy is not acceptable.
Well, I don't know. I agree in a way. Like it's obviously I'd much rather support, pay money and buy. But to me, that's an investment. Like what you have, what you guys like, what you have, Pete, and what Justin has, and Garrett and Lauer and Haas and all you guys who collect, that's an investment.
Yeah, an investment in space. It's like, oh man, what am I gonna do with this?
Who knows? In 30 years, the Tim Drake bisexual thing could be worth a ton of money. And
I hope I'm alive.
And nobody would ever be like, oh, I have it. I mean, no, but it's definitely like it's an investment, and so, investment in money and, like you said, in space, in time, it's an investment.
Yeah, patience.
Yeah, it's like, it's like television. It's like a TV show. Comics are like TV shows. They are. You have to. You don't get it all in one shot. You got to wait till the next one comes out to find out the story continues.
I was just thinking, they take up way more space than like a DVD collection.
All right, I'm sorry. I will get the damn prequel Revelations comics.
No,
Jesus.
keep this going. Like the more people who yell at Eric, the better.
Oh God, that's another thing. If I had kept all my toys from my He-Man toys, and such an idiot.
Hey, you said it, not me.
I am. I had so many, like what Garrett shows us that he has still, like the first generation ones that I had all of them. All of them.
How old were you when Masters of the Universe was happening?
It's what, 84, 85. So I was 8.
Wow, I was still, swimming in the loins.
You probably weren't even doing that yet.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
But I love, that's one of the things I love, that all this stuff is coming back now. Like, I love
nostalgia,
that we're getting. Yeah, I love that we're getting new He-Man stuff for a new generation to watch. And
you can thank Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Stranger Things started this whole nostalgic train. They did.
Yeah.
They started with that whole 80s thing, and everything just snowballed from there.
Yeah, but to bring this full circle, the 89 comic, right? Like I said before, it's nostalgia. It's bringing me back to a time.
100%. I got no problems with nostalgia. That's why I like Jurassic World. It brings me back to the first movie. Fallen Kingdom's garbage, but I really I love that first Jurassic World.
You know what?
Man, I think it's really good.
It
might be my second favorite one. I think it hopped over Lost World.
I don't mind a lot of the story, but Bryce Dallas Howard to me is so bad in that movie.
I love her. She's great.
That I can't. I don't like her, and that really, really makes it hard for me to watch the movie.
She got a tough break as Gwen Stacy, but I love her in Jurassic World.
Oh, her Gwen Stacy was so bad.
She didn't even die. Like, she's not even a real Gwen Stacy.
All right, so that's true.
Well, that goes for Spider-Gwen too. Like, she's still alive. She's not really Gwen Stacy.
So Chris brings up the Dolph Lundgren Master of the Universe movie.
Oh my God, he was great in Aquaman and Rocky.
I'll put it this way. When it came out and I was a kid, I loved it. It was one of those movies that I'm like, oh God, even though it was different than the actual He-Man I was used to, I enjoyed it. But it has not aged
Mario
well.
Brothers fan.
It hasn't aged well at all, for me. So, but if it's
aged well,
if it's on, I'll watch it. I mean, I'll leave it on. Or like, I don't know. I don't even want to get into the specifics.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
You should watch it and then come and because I know you'll say, Eric, why did you make me watch that? She'll say, it's not a good movie.
Dude, I watch Batman and Robin willingly. It's fine.
Well, that's different. Like, you're a huge Batman fan, so
you're kind of cool.
You're like I am when it comes to Star Wars, right? Like, I know the prequels aren't good.
Yeah, you can watch Last Jedi and love it.
But I'll watch the prequels over and over and over again. Even Attack of the Clones I'll watch, and then I hate it. But I watch it because it's Star Wars, and that's me. I watch Batman and Robin if it's on. I fast forward through parts, but
I fast forward through. What do I fast forward through? None of it. I watch it all. Yeah.
Thanks, Jake, for hanging out. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up in a few minutes. We're kind of winding down.
Yeah, I'm tired. I want to watch Superman and Lois and go to bed.
The topics have just been fun. We just had a fun time. So.
Yeah, we broke our own rule. We broke your own rule. We would do this an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half. We did an hour and a half podcast followed up by an hour and a half live stream.
So we're good for like a month now, right?
So guys,
do a show for a while.
So guys out there, Pete and I are trying to plan the next Iceberg Lounge, and the point behind Iceberg Lounge is for us to bring together the community. So even if you don't have a show and you'd like to give it a try and come on the Iceberg Lounge with us, let us know. Hit us up.
Yeah, get a mic, Jake. Come on, bro.
Get a mic. Yeah, if you have a microphone and lying around, let us know and we'll have you on because it'd be fun to talk about this stuff. And the Iceberg Lounge is much more of an adult type theme.
And we're working on bringing a special guest to the Iceberg Lounge. We've talked about it. Eric forgets who we're talking about, but he is. You know who I'm talking about, right?
I don't.
You don't remember? Oh, he's a controversial figure, and I think he would make for just one hell of an episode of television or YouTube TV. So we're working on getting a specific somebody out there. So we got some things in works. Did you figure it out yet?
Talk off air because I'm not remembering.
Oh, yeah, we talked about it in the group thread, and everyone was like, "Yes, that's what you need to do. He would be great. He'd be great on a live stream."
Oh, I missed. Oh, I do know who we're talking about. Yes,
right. Come on now, wouldn't it be great to get him on?
Well, it would be, but could we keep him awake?
We've got to do the show at like 3:30 in the afternoon.
That's the problem. Could we keep him awake? I don't know.
Can we do it on tape delay?
You'll see this dude, Steve. This is awesome. Like, I love that. I love reading that. That should have the Iceberg Lounge shirt.
Get them before T Public takes them down. Yeah. They took down our Italian Spider-Man Coalition shirt. They took down one of our SOG shirts.
Yeah, they took some of them down. We got cease and desist from Disney and Warner Brothers. So
at least they're paying attention to us, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know, but we got some from both. Oh, Zeddy, you are so controversial. We know.
Zeddy, you can come on, but you.
But you've been on before, like
no,
you're always welcome.
This person's never been on the Iceberg Lounge.
Nope, never been on the Iceberg Lounge.
But they're not unaccustomed to doing a video. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah, this person also doesn't do many live events.
No.
So yeah.
So this would be really special.
Yeah, and it could be fun.
Tom McClellan.
Yeah, we have tried for years to get him to just be on a podcast. I would love to get Tom
McClellan on to talk BVS.
Oh, I would love to get him on to talk just on the Star Wars show. That would be fun. That would be fun. But it'd be awesome.
Look at Zeddy double fisting. Jesus.
What? Oh. And on that note, because Pete took it to a place, double entendre. I think we're gonna be shutting it down, guys. But we want to thank you all for coming in. This was fun. This is the first time. This is the first time we did a lot of audience interaction. So we
buy this book. Buy this book. Don't listen to Justin. Buy this book.
Exactly, guys. Check out Batman 89 if you haven't yet. It's very good, and it's a very good beginning to the story. And it does make you anticipate, like really want to know what's going to happen next. It does. At least it did for me and Pete. So we're definitely looking forward to what comes next. So thank you again. And as always, you are watching SOG Tonight. And for Peter Verra, I am Eric Holzmann. We'll see you next time.
Booyah.